extremely proud of it.
Giddy up.
Why am I on the floor? Why are you here?
Why am I in Stewie's room? I don't remember anything. This is like the hangover with Justin Bartha.
Yet nobody thinks of it like that. Oh, there you are.
I have no memory of what happened last night. Yet I have the strangest feeling that Stewie and we shared something special.
Pancakes, please. Yes, it's strange, Rupert, but I feel the same way. Something changed with us. I think this is a whole new beginning.
Too early, little guy.
Ah! Ah!
Oh my God, what is wrong with you? It's just Oreos.
And I guess we'll always have whatever last night was.
Or out of your Tom's of Maine rough and dry baby wipes. I'll order more.
I'm gonna kill her.
Farmer Wants a Wife, season premiere Tuesday on Fox.
Hey, I'm Matthew McConaughey. I'm about to be running wild with Bear Grylls.
Don't worry.
If ever there is a place to expect the unexpected, it's here.
About a thing.
Reindeer testicle.
The highlight of the evening meal.
Rudolph.
'Cause every little thing gonna be.
All right, all right, all right.
Don't worry about a thing.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night for Fox 22 News at 10. I'm Doug Banks. First tonight, fire officials say it was working smoke detectors that saved a Bangor man after a fire broke out at his home this morning. According to the Bangor Fire Department, crews were called to a home on South Park Street at around 10 a.m. and were on scene within 2 minutes. Upon arrival, firefighters found heavy smoke conditions coming from the building and upgraded to an all-hands call. Assistant Fire Chief Chandler Corvio says the firefighters entered the building and discovered fire in the kitchen area. Corvio says the sole occupant made it out of the house before crews got on scene. He noted that working smoke detectors played a vital role.
No injuries to the occupant or any firefighters. He did have working smoke detectors, and that's what did alert him that there was a fire in his home. So he was taking a nap at the time, so he was able to get out safely because of that.
The resident is being assisted by the Red Cross. Corvio says the fire was under control in about 20 minutes. He says while there was moderate damage, the structure is not a total loss and the fire did not impact any neighboring homes. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A crash on I-95 resulted in one person dying and another in the hospital with minor injuries. The crash yesterday evening happened in Sydney near northbound mile marker 120. According to Maine State Police, two motorcycles operated by 61-year-old Adam Robinson of Sangerville and 28-year-old Jason Lancaster of Carmel were traveling together when they passed another vehicle. When merging back into the right lane, State Police says Robinson's motorcycle appeared to have a mechanical defect. The brakes seized and he was ejected from his motorcycle. State Police says he was pronounced dead at the scene. Lancaster, who State Police says was operating in close proximity to Robinson, was also ejected from his motorcycle when he was unable to avoid the crash. He was transported to a local hospital with minor injuries. State Police asks anyone with information about the crash to contact Trooper Keenan Blyer at 207-973-3700, extension 9. A Bar Harbor and Mount Desert police officer was involved in a head-on collision on Route 3 last night while attempting to assist a high-speed vehicle stop. According to police, the crash happened shortly after 9 p.m. Authorities say an individual driving a black Subaru Impreza was traveling at a high rate of speed on State Route 3 in the area of Hamilton's Pond when they failed to stop for police. Officer Nathan Formby of the Bar Harbor and Mount Desert Police Department was in the Halls Cove area on Route 3 and was attempting to assist in identifying and stopping the driver. As the officer arrived in the area of Eden Street and Crooked Road with his emergency lights activated, police say the Subaru entered the oncoming lane and struck Officer Formby's cruiser. Authorities say the officer was not injured as a result of the crash. The operator of the Subaru was taken by ambulance to the MDI hospital, and police have not identified the driver. The investigation is ongoing and has been taken over by the Maine State Police. The Department of Agriculture is cracking down on Mainers who secured mortgages through one of their programs but then failed to pay. The agency filed around 15 foreclosure cases in Maine District Court earlier this past week. The foreclosure cases are aimed at Maine homeowners who obtained a mortgage through a low-income USDA program called the Section 502 Direct Loan Program, which offers individuals home loans that have low down payments and long repayment terms. We obtained a copy of one of the cases that the USDA filed against a homeowner in southern Maine. It shows that the homeowner stopped making monthly mortgage payments in the spring of 2012. This, in turn, was a breach of conditions. Now the homeowner could owe the federal government over $400,000. Similar filings were made last year. Central Maine Power is proposing a change that could lower their customers' bills starting this summer, but others say they're not so sure about the savings. Our Kelly Warren explains the CMP rate proposal was filed Friday with the Maine Public Utilities Commission.
There are two key filings that are going on at the same time.
Those two filings were both submitted Friday to the Maine Public Utilities Commission, or PUC. According to Central Maine Power, rates will fall for the average electric customer as storm damage costs from previous years roll off of electric bills.
One is CMP's annual compliance filing from 2025, so that contains over $100 million in storm costs from some of the major storms that CMP experienced in 2023 and 2024.
Fladowski says CMP intends to make grid and infrastructure improvements to offset future storm damage costs, with no increase to charges for 10 months and a small increase after that period.
There are these refundable temporary rates that would allow for a $4 decrease in bills for a period of 10 months, and those would go into effect on July 1st. And then what they would also see is a one-year rate plan from May 2027 until April 2028. And in that plan, we're limiting any cost increases to a maximum of $7 above what they're paying today.
Those numbers represent the average residential electric consumer. The Maine Office of the Public Advocate represents Maine utility consumers in PUC proceedings. Public Advocate Heather Sanborn released a statement saying in part, quote, CMP's filing makes clear that the company is not only seeking to recover higher operating costs and capital investments, but also to increase its profits. This comes at a time when Maine families are already facing the rising costs of everything from gas to groceries and housing. This is a complex proposal, and Maine people deserve a clear and transparent understanding of how it could affect their bills. The Office of the Public Advocate will closely scrutinize every aspect of this proposal to push for affordability, transparency, and fairness, and to ensure CMP is only charging what is truly necessary to provide safe and reliable service. End quote. Now, right now, these rate changes are just proposals. These adjustments are subject to a full, transparent review by the Maine PUC later this year. In studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
To the State House now, two bills have been signed into law. First, Governor Jenny Mills on Thursday signed a measure that creates a state advocate for children. LD 1893 establishes an independent office of the child advocate in state government. A statement says once operational, the office will receive and investigate complaints, share information with the public, and advise the governor and state lawmakers on how to improve services and protections for children. The sponsor of the bill says the existing ombudsman plays a critical role in protecting children's rights and safety, but its work has been limited to cases involving state child protective services. The other bill signed into law, LD 1746, provides funding for mobile dental health clinics to be held at public schools so services can come to the children where they are. It also provides training and education to primary care providers on minimally invasive dental disease treatments for infants and young children that could be done in a pediatrician's office. Assistant House Majority Leader Lori Gramlich sponsored the bill. She says in part, quote, by improving access to care and catching problems before they become emergencies, we can make sure kids don't have to miss school or suffer preventable pain, end quote. In other news, Graham Plattner's campaign for Senate recently made a stop in Portland for a rally alongside Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Brad Rogers has a story.
1,200 Graham Plattner supporters came out to hear him and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren rally for change in D.C.
This is the guy that is going to go to Washington and get Susan Collins out of there.
Plattner supporters already seem to be looking past the Senate Democratic primary, targeting Republican Senator Susan Collins instead, and the seat she's held for 30 years.
In 199 days, my husband is going to defeat Susan Collins.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren also took shots at Senator Collins as well as President Trump.
He said he would not start foreign wars, and he said on day one, he would lower costs for the American people. Donald Trump has betrayed the American people, and we are here to fight back.
She and Graham Plattner support universal health care, universal child care, and strengthening Maine's working class, who they say grow poorer as billionaires get richer.
We win when we back candidates who have the courage to take on billionaires.
Fewer young Mainers can afford a place to live. Our paychecks don't go as far. We have to take on extra hours at work just to make rent. The money went somewhere, and it wasn't down here. It was stolen from us.
Plattner and Warren also say they want to end tax loopholes for billionaires and mega corporations who they say are using their money and power to back Republican candidates to hold on to their wealth.
We're all being exploited by the exact same people. And it's not immigrants, and it's not trans kids, it's billionaires.
No mention was made of Governor Mills, who is also running for U.S. Senate. There were also no protesters here at the rally.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. Well, after securing funding, Senator Susan Collins toured a local fire station on Friday, seeing firsthand the need for a new facility. Alexa Kennedy was there and has the story.
Dixmont Fire Department volunteers highlighted long-standing issues with their building today, taking Senator Susan Collins on a tour that revealed exactly why that $2.3 million federal grant for a new station is so sorely needed. Dixmont Deputy Chief Derwood Hopkins says he hopes a new station will shorten response time, attract more volunteers, and improve the mutual aid experience for neighboring departments.
A little town like this, there ain't much here, so we gotta do what we can do with what we got with.
Hopkins says the department struggled with limited resources, including cramped working space, aging equipment, and a lack of running water.
We have actually had a number of people say that, you know, if you get a new station, we'll come volunteer.
Bemis called the grant a major milestone after a previous failed attempt.
It holds a community together. You know, your fire station, your fire department and whatnot, that's kind of your central.
She says it's important that Senator Collins saw it for herself.
When you come here in person, as opposed to relying on descriptions and photographs, and talk with all of the volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel, it really hits home how much this is needed.
The new Dixmont Fire Station will be located only 2 miles from the existing one, and the land has already been cleared by volunteers. Construction is expected to begin once funds are released. That timeline isn't definite yet, but is generally expected in the next year. In Dixmont, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, with the weather today, it's understandable if you're a bit lackadaisical. With that in mind, let's turn things over to Chase Ropanak, who's in now the first look at our forecast. Chase?
Thank you very much for today. Much cooler than your Saturday. Looking at highs in the mid-40s with plenty of rain showers out there. A few of us seeing snow showers to the west as well. 46 for that high here in Bangor. We shared that with many other areas. Machias, Bar Harbor, Rockland. Even saw those mid-upper 40s into Millinocket and Holton. 50 for you in Presque Isle for today, but the rest of us still right around those mid-upper 40s as you head down towards your southwestern coastline. And as you can see, the rain and snow is coming to an end for tonight, but a little bit may trickle into tomorrow morning. But a lot of dry air is going to be moving into the surface as well. So most likely this is going to evaporate before it reaches the surface for tomorrow. So most likely partly cloudy and dry. But yes, a few sprinkles or flurries cannot be ruled out. You may see that for tomorrow late morning into the afternoon hours. So taking a look at overnight tonight, you're going to see the skies clearing for a bit, but increasing again towards the early morning hours with lows just below freezing for tonight.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. We'll see you later on the broadcast. Folks, still to come here on Fox 22 News at 10. A domestic violence situation in Louisiana escalated into a mass shooting. We'll have more details on that. And later on, researchers say soft-shell clam landings are dropping significantly. Those stories and more after the break.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could get 4.99 for 60 on a fuel-sipping all-wheel drive Corolla Cross gas model, one of our most affordable SUVs, with 2 years no-cost maintenance. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
When I had first left for college, I was super excited to start pursuing my dreams, and I had met so many amazing people my freshman year. Yeah, some days were really hard, balancing work life and classes, but most of them, they were the best of my life, because I had something not everyone gets. A dad inspiring me every step of the way. And I'm so happy to graduate beside you.
Thousands of kids like Caroline receive life-changing care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center each year, the only full-service pediatric program north of Portland. You can help support them by joining the Summer Classic for Maine Kids Golf Tournament, happening July 31st at Bangor Municipal Golf Course, benefiting the Children's Miracle Network at Eastern Maine Medical Center. Every dollar raised supports pediatric care today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Ready to tee up for a great cause? Visit northernlight.org/4kids to learn more and register today.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. A Northwest Louisiana community is in mourning after a domestic violence situation escalated into a mass shooting. Police say a gunman opened fire, shooting 10 people. 8 of those victims were children between the ages of 1 and 14 years old. 7 of those killed, authorities say, were the gunman's own children. Fox News correspondent Max Gordon has the story.
8 children are killed in what police are describing as a domestic disturbance. 10 people shot altogether. 2 of them remain hospitalized.
This is a rather extensive crime scene spanning between 2 residences here. The ranges of the decedents are from 1 year of age to approximately 14 years of age.
It happened in Shreveport, Louisiana early Sunday morning. Police say a gunman opened fire in at least 2 homes before performing a carjacking and fleeing the scene. Officers later shot and killed the suspect after a short chase.
We do believe him to be the only individual that fired gunshots at these locations here.
According to Shreveport police, this is the nation's deadliest mass shooting in more than 2 years. Hours after the incident, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who represents the district, released a statement calling it a heartbreaking tragedy. Johnson saying, quote, "We're holding the victims, their families and loved ones, and our Shreveport community close in our thoughts and prayers during this incredibly difficult time."
My heart is just taken back. I just cannot begin to imagine how such an event can occur.
While police have yet to identify the gunman, they have revealed some of the victims are related to the shooter. Investigators are now asking for anyone with pictures or videos to come forward with information. Louisiana State Police have now joined the investigation and are now helping process the scene and gather witness statements. Max Gordon, Fox News.
We turn our attention now overseas. Round 2 of ceasefire talks between the United States and Iran is set to kick off this week in Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance will once again be leading negotiations, but there's still no word from Iran if they'll be showing up. The uncertainty comes after U.S. forces attacked and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz for allegedly trying to evade the U.S. naval blockade in the region. It's a move that Iran says violates the terms of a ceasefire. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palacott has a story.
New questions about talks between the U.S. and Iran amid more tensions between the two sides. Negotiations between Vice President J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and representatives of the Iranian regime had been set to resume in Islamabad, Pakistan, Tuesday morning, possibly extending into Wednesday. That planned timing, according to President Trump, in a phone call with our own Trey Yingst. The president accusing Iran of violating the ceasefire between the two sides, set to end early next week. Iran fired at 2 vessels near the contested Strait of Hormuz yesterday, as well, as we've noted, making a lot of threats against Iran. Now Iran referencing the U.S. naval blockade in the Gulf, and that rhetoric coming from the White House seems to indicate they're not even going to show up at the talks. Its state news agency blaming, in part, Washington's excessive demands, unrealistic expectations, constant shifts in stance, repeated contradictions, and the ongoing naval blockade, which it considers a breach of the ceasefire. We are waiting for further word from any side about whether this is just last-minute posturing by Iran or the real thing, a serious breakdown in diplomacy which could lead to resumption of fighting here. In Tel Aviv, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
And back here in the U.S., as the fight over funding for the Department of Homeland Security continues, the head of ICE announced he'll be resigning at the end of May. Fox's Griff Jenkins has a story from Washington.
As the battle over funding for Homeland Security heats up, there's been another shakeup at the top.
One of my top priorities is to ensure that ICE operates efficiently. I can do that by working with you to ensure we have the resources we need to keep our workforce safe.
That was Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Just hours before the department announced he'll be resigning at the end of next month, following a tenure that saw ICE ramp up arrests and expand its detention centers, issues central to the 2-month-long DHS shutdown. It's not clear if Lyons' resignation will win over skeptical Democrats, but House Republicans say they're moving ahead with a plan to fund the department through a procedure known as reconciliation.
Let's all go over and be bullies to the Senate and tell them to get off their keisters and go for it.
That's easier said than done. President Trump is asking for a slimmed-down reconciliation bill, but some conservatives are pushing to add policy priorities like the Save America Act.
I want a chunky reconciliation bill, but I'm working on it, and there are others working on it.
Democrats claim funding DHS isn't a top priority for Republicans, and they're criticizing Senate Majority Leader John Thune for not taking a more active role in negotiations.
I don't know why he's letting more deadlines come up upon him instead of getting the work done that he should be getting done all along.
Top DHS officials said Thursday the lack of funding is having a big impact on their preparations for the World Cup this summer. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
All right, folks, we'll have more local news after the break. Stay right here.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could save up to $5,800 with 2.99 for 72 on most 2026 Tundra models. Plus, get $1,000 bonus financing cash. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey! That ought to do it.
Who hurt you?
Family owned and operating in the Bangor area for more than 10 years. Crosby's Welding is here to help you. We specialize in steel, stainless steel, and aluminum welding and fabrication. We serve many of the local industries from Maine lobstermen to the commercial trucking industry and everything in between. Fully mobile on-site construction services right down to custom signs and fire pits. Fast, friendly, reliable service. Give us a call today for a free estimate, 974-7815.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Researchers say soft-shell clam landings are dropping significantly. As Alison LaPierre reports, the Down East Institute is hoping to get to the bottom of it.
Brian Beal and Tessa Houston are both Maine marine ecology researchers with the Down East Institute. The Marine Research Lab and Education Center is trying to figure out why soft clam landings are declining.
And what we're trying to do is to find out whether the problem exists due to overharvesting, whether the problem exists due to climate change.
The Down East Institute is installing shellfish recruitment boxes on flats across the coast of Maine to get a better understanding of the rapid decline.
So we're looking at the most vulnerable stages of the soft-shell clam's early history, and that is just when they have come from swimming, which they do for 3 weeks as larvae in the water. That's the stage where they're most vulnerable to predation by crabs and other small predators.
The clams are already quite small, and invasive species like this ribbon worm and green crab are destroying soft-shell clam populations. Since the 1970s, soft-shell clam landings have declined 85% statewide, but the state still produces 60% of the country's soft-shell clams.
It's a really important project because it kind of shows the crisis that the clam industry is experiencing.
The boxes will stay in the flats until the fall. Once retrieved, researchers will examine patterns like how fast the clams grow, the impact from its predators, and the environmental trends.
This whole thing is to highlight really the problems in the soft-shell clam fishery.
And that was Alison LaPierre reporting. To Bucksport now, 2 major projects in Bucksport are currently in its beginning stages. They aim to revitalize abandoned infrastructure in the town. The plans for one project have yet to be fully disclosed. The other has been slightly derailed. Here's that story.
2 major projects aim to revitalize abandoned infrastructure in Bucksport. First, the 4-decade dormant Sprague North Oil Terminal.
Locals may refer to it as the coal pocket.
The 13-acre property was recently purchased by Dysart's Realty, an LLC affiliated with the family business. They declined to comment about the purchase on Friday.
It's property that's been there for a while. They're doing their due diligence on the property. So if you've never traversed it by water, there used to be a dock down there. The dock collapsed into the water, but the pilings are still there. The Dysart family did file with the DEP to get a dock put back into the location.
The other aims to revive railroad branches running through the town.
Currently, the line is exempt in Bucksport. However, Transloadex is looking into the possibility of getting that line restarted.
But plans for that have been slightly derailed for now. According to Bangor Daily reporting, Transloadex, which did not respond to our request for comments on Friday, filed an exemption with the Federal Surface Transportation Board last month to limit review requirements. This action triggered allegations from multiple people and entities against the company. Those accusations include unfair and inequitable conduct in the sale of a Massachusetts railroad and operating without necessary permits. Company owners have denied those allegations. The board reportedly decided on Tuesday to postpone granting the exemption to see if the company is eligible to do so. The board also directed the company to address the allegations by May 4th. In Bucksport, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, folks, after the break, the weekend review. What stories made the list? Find out next.
What animal suggested this image? I mean, we all know the answer, except for that one guy.
Who will be part of the 1% Club? All new Mondays on Fox.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
There's a Chevy for everyone to see the USA. SUVs that put more within reach. Affordable EVs that open up the map. And trucks that never compromise.
Right now, get $500 cash allowance on this 2026 Chevy Trax. Or well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing on all 2026 Trax models. Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
At At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could save up to $5,800 with 2.99 for 72 on most 2026 Tundra models. Plus, get $1,000 bonus financing cash. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
My name is Rebecca Babrod, and I'm studying my master's in social work at the University of Maine. After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family, so I had a college education, but no degree. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating. One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day. I'm actually studying right now. It's such a great feeling to have made myself important in the process and to continue my education.
Welcome back and welcome into our weekend show segment, The Weekend Review. Each Saturday and Sunday, we take suggestions to stories here at ABC 7 and Fox 22, ranging from breaking news to feel-good features that stood out to you during our weekday and air them in its entirety. First, a citizens' initiative aiming to establish rules for school sports based on biological sex was the subject of a public hearing in Augusta on Tuesday. Our Grace Blanchard shares more about debate over transgender sports participation and bathroom access.
Advocates and opponents of a proposed ballot measure that aims to address transgender sports participation packed the State House Tuesday as lawmakers heard a series of public testimonies.
This bill will make schools less safe, less fair, and more dangerous for all kids.
Our bill is inclusive, fair, and safe. Everybody plays, nobody is banned.
The initiative bill, called an act to designate school sports participation and facilities by sex, is expected to appear on this year's ballot. It seeks to require all Maine schools to designate sports teams, bathrooms, and locker rooms by a student's assigned gender at birth.
I'm in favor of the referendum. I think it's important to make sure that women, biological women and girls, feel safe.
Opponents testified they feel the initiative is a harmful overreach that places unnecessary burdens on the public school system.
The implications of this bill go beyond sports and bathrooms. The threat to the physical and psychological safety of transgender and gender nonconforming students is very real.
Organizations like the ACLU of Maine drew attention to the Maine Human Rights Act as it relates to gender identity and expression.
Trans kids are kids. They deserve the right to access school and sports and bathrooms freely, just like any other kid.
We need to protect everybody. And unfortunately, it does come down to sex for that. It has to. There are true differences, and it's meaningful differences.
The committee voted not to hold a work session, meaning the initiative will now go to voters this November without legislative input. In Augusta, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Next, 2 of Bangor's warming shelters have closed. Community leaders talked with our Alex Schley on Tuesday about the impact of the winter season and what comes next for both the organizations and those experiencing homelessness.
On any given night this winter, nearly 100 otherwise unhoused individuals found shelter at the Together Place or Brick Church on Union Street.
So this year we had some really extremely cold temperatures, and we were averaging about 40 people a night.
Max was 60 this year, so, and we've had some light nights, but for the most part, it's been right around 50.
Leaders say thanks to city funding, coupled with donations and careful budgeting, they were able to make it through the winter.
But I mean, when you look at the fact that the statewide average, right, for a warming shelter bed per bed night is $45, and we were able to do this project at $11 per bed night per person, that's a huge success.
Financially, we did really well this year. We managed it well, but here we're all volunteers.
Overall, leaders say it was a successful winter. But with the season ending, it's unclear where the nearly 100 people who relied on the shelters will go now.
There's so many individuals that have no place to go, so that's a sad fact of what we're dealing with here.
A lot of them do not have any idea, because the parks are shut down, the sidewalks are shut down, and that's where they normally go.
Both organizations say they haven't heard from the city about any plans to prevent another encampment from forming. However, they add they will continue providing daytime services throughout the summer. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Finally, there's a major player on the Maine Black Bears baseball team. Our Max Sturm recently caught up with him about his baseball journey.
The Maine Black Bears have been on a roll over the last few weekends, and at least a portion of the credit for that success can be attributed to one of Maine's newest players, Nick Pepe. The Black Bears' leadoff batter has tallied 10 hits, 6 runs, and 2 home runs, including a grand slam versus Bryant. Like many college baseball stars, Pepe's road to Maine began with a ball and glove in the front yard.
When I was like 3 years old, my dad just put a ball in my hand, just throwing a tennis ball to my glove side, just kept catching it, and he was like, yeah, he could play a little bit.
Pepe attended IMG Academy in Florida, which earned him an opportunity to play at Seminole State College, where he learned quickly that the key to being successful at the next level was to get in the gym.
I'd say the biggest thing is just getting stronger, and then the extra in high school is 7 innings, and in college it's 9. So just being in shape, it's half a season compared to high school. Like we play 50 college, 25 in high school.
After 2 years at Seminole, Pepe made the move to Maine, where he'd reunite with his coach at IMG, CJ Suarez.
Yeah, CJ, he coached down at IMG, and he called me up. I just wanted an opportunity to go out there and play and show what I got.
Black Bears head coach Nick Durba says he knew what he had in Nick before he even stepped in the building.
He's a grinder. We look for guys that love baseball. You know, there's a difference between guys that love baseball and the guys that like to be a baseball player, and we try to surround ourselves with guys that love the game. He's one of those guys, and we knew that right away.
The connection was mutual.
When I talked to him, I was like, yeah, this is a good guy. I want to go meet him, and I want to play for him.
In a sport so culture-driven, Durba says Pepe fits right in.
Just being able to show up every day, wants to be on the field, needs to be on the field. It's part of his life. You know, those are the type of guys we want to surround ourselves with.
Both Durba and shortstop Chris Bear say Pepe has been a crucial piece of what the Black Bears have set out to accomplish.
He's a good perfect puzzle piece. You know, and he's a guy that, you know, can lift the team up.
We're all competitors here, and we want to win, and that's exactly what he is. He wants to win.
Pepe is only a junior and still has his final year at Maine ahead of him. But he says being a collegiate athlete is not where the road ends for him.
I'm not doing this just to be done after college. I want to see how far I can take this.
In Orono, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
And as the Weekend Review segment continues, we'd like you at home to be a part of it. Didn't see a story you thought should have been included? Well, then email us throughout the week at weekendreview@wvii.com with what stories during the past week made an impact or stood out to you. Tune in again next Saturday night here on Fox 22 News at 10 for a new slate of local stories. All right, folks, Chase Ropenak is in next with our full 5-day forecast.
Lots of rain for us here in Bangor for today, but some areas saw their fair share of snow as well. Lows tonight drop back below freezing, which means tomorrow we can see a little bit of snow trickle here into Bangor. How much will we see, and will it stick around? We'll have those answers coming right up.
When Paramount Paving wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Paramount Paving in Old Town provides expert paving, seal coating services to eastern and central Maine. Currently booking for the 2025 season. Call for a free estimate today.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage, doing business the right way every day.
When Paramount Paving wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Paramount Paving in Old Town provides expert paving, seal coating services to eastern and central Maine. Currently booking for the 2025 season. Call for a free estimate today.
Where's the ball? Release the ball. Let's get it on!
You're making me nervous.
It's Cash or Splash.
The Quiz with Balls, all new Mondays on Fox.
A bit cooler today than it was for your Saturday. That was due to a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain showers out there. A little bit of snow out there as well, as we saw highs for many of us sticking right around the mid-40s. We shared the same temperature here in Bangor, Bar Harbor, and Machias at 46 degrees. Same for Rockland as well. Some warmer temperatures up north near 50 in Presque Isle, but they were the only ones to do that, while many of us still in the mid to upper 40s down near your southwestern portion of the state. So for tonight, we're looking at lows dropping just below freezing, right around 29 to 30 degrees here in Bangor. You're going to see some cooler temperatures off to the west, but as we continue into tomorrow, more of the warmer temperatures are going to stick around here, Bangor and your coastline. Looking at low to mid 40s for tomorrow. We can see a slight chance for some snow early on, but we're going to have a lot of dry air moving in behind this system that we dealt with for today, so that's going to make it hard for any of that precipitation to reach the surface. So average highs this time of year, right around the mid 50s. We're not doing that for a little bit. For your Tuesday, we can get some sunshine and get close to 50. Got it forecasted at 49 for right now, but then the next time we really see 50s will be Friday into your weekend, Saturday and Sunday, where we're back near average in the mid 50s. Then we'll get close to average throughout this week, but a lot of cloud cover, more chances for showers Wednesday night into your Thursday, keeping us in the mid to upper 40s. So wind out there, not too bad. We're going to see for tonight right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And on the backside of the system, a lot of winds coming from the west, but still not gusting too hard. Usually we've seen wind gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour behind these systems, but for us, right around 15 to maybe 20 miles per hour here in Bangor. And the winds really look to lighten up again tomorrow night, and that's going to allow for some cool temperatures to return here across the state, where we can get back into the low 20s in some spots. So as you can see, the rain and snow is coming to an end here. Not too far from now, we'll stay dry throughout the night. We're going to see those clear skies here in Bangor as well, dropping us back below freezing. But then more clouds increase tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon, showing a chance for some sprinkles or flurries here. Again, a lot of dry air is going to be moving in at the surface, while dew points right around the upper teens, low 20s, making it hard with temperatures in the 40s for this to reach the surface. It can happen if we do see some nice dew points here along your coastline with the help from those coastal waters. We can see a few sprinkles, flurries, or maybe some light showers out there. But again, this will all come to an end by tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Clear skies and cool temperatures return. But for your Tuesday, we're going to get a southwesterly wind, and that's going to help us warm back up into the 40s for us here across the state. So for tonight, we're seeing lows back in the upper 20s we got for tonight. Rain and snow coming to an end. Some areas of dense fog are likely out there for tonight, especially early on, with the wind staying light from the northwest. But that breeze will pick up a little bit tomorrow. We got west winds right around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Partly to mostly cloudy in some spots, highs in the mid 40s. And yes, can't rule out the chance for a few sprinkles or flurries along our coastline and in the Bangor area for tomorrow. So taking a look at your extended forecast, close to 50 on Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. Some areas will see mostly sunny conditions. 47 for Wednesday. We got chances for rain returning Wednesday night into your Thursday, but dry again Friday with highs back in the low 50s.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. Folks, before we head to break, a check-in on some final scores from sports from outside of Maine. First, in Game 1 of the NBA playoffs, the Celtics outscored their Eastern Conference rival Philadelphia 76ers 123-91. In baseball, the Red Sox lost at home to the Detroit Tigers 6-2. In golf, Matt Fitzpatrick won the RBC Heritage Tournament today over Scotty Scheffler with a score of 18 under. It's the second time he's won the tournament in a playoff. And Bruins fans, we didn't forget about you. In Game 1 of the NHL playoffs, the Bruins lost just a few moments ago on the road to the Buffalo Sabres 4-3. Unfortunate outcome there. The 59th Kentucky Canoe Races was held yesterday. Max Sturm will have that story and more in sports right after the break.
Is that a compression nut?
Oh!
We got a duct taper.
Bangor, ready to get rugged? Join the community April 20th for the massive grand opening of Rugged Roots Trading Post, Stillwater Avenue, Bangor. Meet the crew. Explore a wide selection of premium Maine-grown products. Doors open 9 a.m. Cut rate prices you won't believe. Can't wait till 4/20? They're open now. Or visit ruggedrootstradingpost.com. For use only by adults 21 years of age and older. License number AMS 1775.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Time for this rancher to find his wife. I got my home, I'm just kind of missing that person to share it with.
Farmer Wants a Wife premieres Tuesday on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. Saturday marked the 59th annual Kenduskeag Extreme Canoe Race. I got up bright and early to see what this year's race was all about.
One of my lifelong dreams was to make it to this race and to be seen on TV by my family.
For almost 6 decades, the city of Bangor has gathered their canoes, kayaks, and rafts and set sail for the annual Kenduskeag Extreme Canoe Race. Saturday was no different. Hundreds of Bangor residents and Mainers alike took part in the 16-mile race down the Kenduskeag Stream. The race brings in folks from all over Maine and New England, all of whom say they look forward to participating every year.
It's our second year. It's a great time. We just enjoy it.
Beautiful weather, getting out after the long winter.
I always come here to get the start on the season, and then I end up racing a bunch more races closer to home.
Everybody is like-minded there, and they like to do these types of things. This is good, clean fun.
Some come in looking to get to Bangor in the fastest time. Others, they're just here to have a good time.
I mean, it's serious, but it's also not too serious. I like the costumes. I love the atmosphere. I think everyone's just here to be a little silly and have a good time.
So I've run this one on my own a couple of times, but this is going to be our first time together as a married couple, and hopefully we can finish it as one.
I can splash him, and we can go swimming in the dam, and no one's going to think anything of it.
The launch at Kenduskeag Veterans Bridge is just the start of this race. The real action takes place at 6 Mile Falls, where the water gets rough and the ride gets bumpy. So what does it take to get through the falls with dry clothes?
We don't really know because we haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
We were wet the last time.
A little bit of praying. I pray that I make the right decision.
He follows my orders. That's the key.
Some racers avoid the falls entirely.
I gotta tell you, I cop out. I do carry around 6 Mile.
After passing the falls, the ride to the finish line is mostly smooth sailing. Racers cross the finish line at Kenduskeag Plaza Bridge and unload shortly after. This year's winners, JD and Brady Burke, finished with a time of 2.5 hours. JD, who has run the race for over 30 years, says returning every year is an easy decision and encourages anyone who wants to pick it up next year to give it a shot.
That keeps me young.
The thrill of it,
the
adrenaline.
He makes me.
Yeah.
It's the best time to do it. They have safety out there. They have rescue, they have warming tents, they have people look at your canoe. Yep. So how you learn.
In Bangor, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports. Keeping it local still, the tennis season is about to get underway, and the regional runner-up John Baptist Crusaders boys team has hit the court, and they're preparing to make another run at the state title. Last season, the boys team made it all the way to the Class B North Regional Finals, where they fell to #1 Foxcroft Academy. This year, the team has a whole new look, as all 7 starters from the 2025 team have graduated. Junior Surya Vale says developing the young talent on this team is the first step towards another crack at the title.
The main objectives this year I've been trying to develop. We got a lot of new talent. You know, we lost a couple people, but we've got a lot of new kids that have a lot of just natural talent. So being able to hone that talent into being able to win matches is the main focus right now.
With an all-new set of starters and new talent having to fill big shoes from last year's squad, there can also be a lot of pressure. But so far this preseason, head coach Jason Hoyt says that has not fazed this team, and he's seen the boys step up to the challenge, which he believes is the recipe to a state title.
They're motivated. I think they're motivated to become the best team that they can possibly be. And if we keep doing that in a year or two, we're going to be motivated to go back to a Northern Maine final, I hope.
Thursday marked the final day of the NHL regular season, and teams played a lot of their young guys, including guys from the AHL. That is what happened with the Seattle Kraken, as a former Maine hockey standout got his first NHL start in net. Victor Osman got the call up for the final game of the season to get his first start against the President Trophy winner Colorado Avalanche. And despite the 2-0 loss, Osman recorded 33 of 35 saves and only allowed 2 goals in his debut. Osman, who is from Sweden, played at Maine from 2020 to 2024, where he was a top goalie for the team along with Albin Boya.
I don't think it slowed down, but just trying to read plays and be on top of it. And they have some really good players, and they made some good plays. So yeah, it was fun just like being out there with those guys and seeing what it's like. So yeah.
That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
At Toyota, we believe longevity is the true measure of affordability. The longer something lasts, the further your money goes. So with Toyota being the longest lasting brand, your money goes the furthest. Now, during our longest lasting value event, you could get a $259 a month lease on an all-wheel drive Corolla Cross SUV with a $14,064 total contract cost and 2 years no cost maintenance. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
When I had first left for college, I was super excited to start pursuing my dreams, and I had met so many amazing people my freshman year. Yeah, some days were really hard, balancing work life and classes, but most of them, they were the best of my life, because I had something not everyone gets. A dad inspiring me every step of the way, and I'm so happy to graduate beside you.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Step into a story that's funny, touching, and deeply human. Winterport Open Stage presents The Dining Room by A.R. Gurney. This unique production blends a series of scenes into a heartfelt look at family and tradition. Performances run May 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th at 7 p.m., with matinees May 3rd and 10th at 3 p.m. at Samuel Wagner Middle School in Winterport. For tickets, visit winterportopenstage.net or find Winterport Open Stage on Facebook.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Maybe it's better I don't look.
Big stars bear down and bear it all.
It's the ultimate place for an adventure.
Bear Grylls is Running Wild. Premieres April 21st on Fox.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Maine's largest vintage pop-up market made its return to the Bangor area, showcasing over 100 New England vendors. Hundreds of people were lining up outside of the Cross Insurance Center for the Lost and Found Market yesterday. The traveling market features a wide selection of curated vintage clothing, decor, records, and other unique finds. Organizers and vendors say the focus is on sustainability, community, and self-expression.
Truly is like a monumental event in Maine. It's been so grassroots, and to kind of see the market grow like this has been phenomenal.
I just love the whole aspect of the antiquing, the whole repurpose, reusing. I think there's too much waste out there, so it's a really great event to like show all the great stuff out there that we can, keep using.
The market was in Bangor for one day only, unfortunately, but to learn when the next pop-up events will be, you can visit lostandfoundmaine.com or find them on social media. For decades, the Challenger Learning Center of Maine has been inspiring youth to discover and explore the world of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as STEM. Yesterday, the center held an annual fundraising event that aims to expand opportunities for students while also supporting the environment. Our Grace Blanchard was there yesterday and has a story.
Microwaves, CPUs, laptops, televisions of any type.
Turning waste into opportunity.
Today we're running our e-waste collection fundraiser.
The event, hosted by the Challenger Learning Center of Maine, offers residents a convenient and responsible way to dispose of unwanted electronics while supporting its mission.
So we offer that to the community for them to bring their waste so that it's not going to the landfill. And then also we collect donations to keep our center running.
The funds raised help ensure continued access to Challenger programs that inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, and innovators.
We are able to give students like a real life simulation and have them be in there doing the science, doing hands-on, and it is just a very different exposure to STEM.
The center partners with North Coast Services to break down the waste to ensure these electronics are properly disposed of instead of ending up in landfills.
Yeah, we've been doing this, I think, for about 8 years now, and in different facets, from doing collections over at our warehouse to supporting them over here. We love Challenger. They're great to work with. It's a great cause.
To learn about their upcoming events and programs, visit astronaut.org. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Such a unique event. I mean, I can't be the only one that has excess cords and things like that just lying around from technology. And I mean, Apple changes their iPhone charging cords like every other year. So I have excess cords and things like that. And I wish I knew about them sooner because it's just a better way to dispose of those things and, you know, help people out as well. So that was a good story by Grace Blanchard there. All right, folks, finally here tonight, the Boston Marathon is nearly here. Tomorrow morning, about 30,000 runners will lace up and race from Hopkinton to Boston's Copley Square. As Alison LaPierre reports, that includes a woman from Biddeford running in honor of her late mother.
Running for a reason this Marathon Monday. During COVID, Massabesic middle school teacher Jessica Johnson wanted to try something new.
One day, laced up my shoes. I said, look, you used to run when you were in the military. Let's go ahead and see if you've still got it.
Johnson began running races in honor of her mother, who passed away from brain cancer in 2002. After completing 2 half marathons in a year, Johnson wanted to go for the big one.
Every runner who runs marathons kind of dreams of running the Boston Marathon.
Johnson has run the Boston Marathon 3 times already. Monday will be her 4th. This year, Johnson is running in partnership with New England Honda and raising money for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
When the opportunity came to raise money for Dana-Farber, it was a no-brainer for me because I was like, oh my gosh, like my mom says, you know, go out and do some things good for the world. Well, why not do something to honor her legacy and give back?
Johnson does it for her mom and others who battled cancer.
My mom was diagnosed and she was gone 6 weeks later. Well, now because of breakthrough cancer research, they have been able to take the same cancer that my mom had, and people have a survival rate of 5+ years.
About 500,000 spectators are expected at this year's race, including Johnson's family. She says there's nothing quite like crossing the blue and yellow finish line and seeing her cheering family.
There's a tradition. So my daughters usually come up and give me a hug, and my husband greets me at the finish line and puts on my finisher's jacket.
New England Team Honda is hoping to raise $125,000 this year for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and Johnson is looking to finish the race with a personal record.
This year is my year.
We certainly wish her the best of luck tomorrow. Well, that's all we have for tonight. I'm Doug Banks, and for everyone here at Fox 22 News at 10, thank you for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, and hopefully you are too. Until then, take care. Good night.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
Playing it safe won't propel Maine forward. Conservative Jonathan Bush agrees. A new kind of Bush. He believes Maine needs to diversify our economy, cut property and income taxes. Conservative, Republican, disruptor. Jonathan Bush for governor.
When Blazing Trails located in Lincoln want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to eastern and central Maine.
The Spring Fling event is on at Maine's #1 Kia dealer, Darling's Kia. Spring into a new Kia K4 for only $199 a month. Or cut through the rain and mud with a new all-wheel drive Kia Sorento. Lease for only $339 a month. Plus, every new Kia comes with our 10-year or 100,000-mile warranty. The best in the business. Spring Fling is in full swing at #1 Darling's Kia. The best cars, the best prices, and the best warranty. You'll do better at Darling's.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
4 international territories compete for the title of Global Master Chef.
My 3 daughters are watching.
Tell them I say hi. Master Chef Global Gauntlet, all new Wednesdays on Fox.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.